You are listening to Breaking the Fourth Wall on Realm of the Mist Entertainment. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Breaking the Fourth Wall in an interview with Style. Today I have a very special guest with me. He's been in all kinds of different things, but I'm not going to take that away from him. He can tell you himself. Today I have Mr. Larry Hankin. How are you doing today, sir?
Pretty good so far. To this point, pretty good.
Good. Nice, clear day out there in California?
Actually, yeah, it's getting kind of warm. It must be about, 78 or something outside.
Perfect.
Kind of warm. Yeah, sunny. Yeah.
That sounds beautiful. Cool. I'm in New York. It's a little cold over here today, so that sounds amazing to be out there where the sun's shining.
Well, you never know now with this global warming stuff. You know, I feel lucky to be here. So far, we haven't been hit with anything untoward.
Perfect.
So, yeah,
that's just great. So let's get this thing rolling here. I know who you are, and I'm sure almost all of your fans out there know who you are, but just in case there's anybody listening that doesn't know who you are, can you tell us a couple of the things that you've been in?
Well, I'm kind of known for Mr. Heckles on Friends, and Tom Pepper on Seinfeld, and Carl on Billy Madison, and then recently Breaking Bad. I was Old Joe, the junkyard guy out in the desert.
Right.
Magnet and the Winnebago. And lately on Barry, I was Stovka, the assassin from Czechoslovakia on episode 3. So, and now with El Camino, I'm in that. They just showed actually my commercial. It was really neat. I was in the commercial. Did you see Saturday Night Live last night?
I did not watch it last night, no.
No, I don't watch it either, but somebody told me and they sent me a link. Yeah, they had a commercial on Saturday Night Live, and it was my role.
Oh, wow.
As Old Joe, or Go Joe. Go Joe, they now call it. But anyway, yeah. So that's coming out, I guess, in a couple of days, the 11th, I guess. And then I got a book coming out.
Oh, a book. What's that?
Knows about because it's just coming out. It's called The Loopholes Dossier. It's actually a satire. It's my writing of. There's a political satire. There's a satire about a homeless, an oral history of a homeless character that I invented, Barnum Justice. And then there's 8 really cool, funny fables about a character named sometimes Jones, which I invented. So that's coming. That's in pre-sale. So you can order it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or ebooks or hardcover or any place that sells books. It's open all over the world. It's going to be out for shipping in about 10 days. But you can order it now.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I might have to check that out.
You bet. Please do. And all those people listening too. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody needs to check.
Yeah, the Loopholes Dossier.
Loopholes Dossier. Okay. We'll make sure to put a link, a link to Amazon maybe, or just kind of spell it out for everybody in the description when we get everything posted up. That way they can just, kind of click it and go to it. So, you've been in a ton of stuff. I mean, and you've run just about every role there is to do. So, my question for you would be, do you have any iconically kind of funny things from filming that really stands out in your mind? Some funny story that kind of... Oh, yeah.
I mean, each one of those parts, each one of those roles, when I was filming it, something always happens that's either weird or funny or unique or So, I have a story about each one of them. I mean, you just, pick one, and I'll see if I have something. Just pick a part that I did, and boom.
Okay.
Yeah, do you have a favorite, something you're curious about?
I mean, quite honestly, my favorite role of yours was Crazy Carl from Billy Madison. I absolutely loved your character in that. I thought you did such a great job trying to be that straight edge suit, but you had that, kind of funny, wild side.
Well, okay, the story there is that I was I was a hippie at that time, so my hair was kind of down to my shoulders, and my friend was directing that, and so I said, "Hey, you're my buddy. Why get me in the movie?" And he said, "Well, there's no parts for somebody like you, a hippie. So if you want to be in it, you're going to have to get a haircut." And I go, "No, I don't want to get a haircut." He said, "Well, there's only one part, Carl, but he has really short hair, and so if you want to be in a movie, you can do Carl, but you have to get a haircut." And I fought with my friend, and finally I decided, okay, because it's Adam Sandler, that was enough to go, okay, I'll cut my hair. He's an important figure in the comedy world. Mm-hmm. I'd like to meet him. So I signed, I cut my hair, and I was on it. But it was really, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. First of all, although I respect Adam because he really does what he does extremely well, and he knows exactly where his fans are, and he just gives them what he has for them. But it's not my humor, it's kind of over the top, it's broad, it's, poop humor and insult and put on and stuff. And I don't do that, but again, I respect Adam himself, so I want to meet him. So I cut my hair and I got on the set, and then in the first 2 weeks they fired my friend. So now, who was directing. So now I was at the mercy. I had no friend on the set, and I was just the butt of a lot of Adam's off-camera shenanigans, which I'm not into. I'm not into put-on humor or taunting or anything like that, or insult humor. So it started to bug me after a while. So anyway, I mean, he would call me up at 4 in the morning. He would have girls, his girl fans, call me up at 4. I had like a 6 o'clock call, and they would call, "Oh, can I come up and visit you? I love you so much." And then I would hear him giggling in the background. Tell Adam, I got to get up at 6, but
my goodness,
it's getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there was that kind of stuff, and then one day, I guess he saw that I was kind of, bugged with him. So we were having lunch, all of us, in like a semi-hemi-demi restaurant near the set or on the set, whatever. And we were just a whole bunch of tables, and I was at a table near him. And so Adam called me over, and somebody, I guess, had said something about something I had worked on, a little funny, ridiculous bit in college. Maybe they told him, because I don't know how he knew about it, but he called me over and said, "Oh, gee, maybe he wants to apologize." And he sits down, he says, "Tell me a little about yourself. What's this mouse thing, that you do?" And I go, "What?" And this was this thing I did in college, this ridiculous kind of face. And I said, "Let me see it." And I go, "I don't want to do that. That's like from college. It's like silly." "No, come on." And he kept on. "No, come on. So finally, just to shut him up, I made this face, this little mousy face.
Okay.
And he goes, "Hey, that's pretty funny." And I go, "Yeah, thanks. Can I go back to my table now?" Because I just, that was going to be it. That's why he called me over.
Right.
So I just over to my table. I left it. Okay, so the next day, we're in this scene where he's introducing me to his girlfriend in the, I guess, some sort of little cottage in the back of his house in the movie, the character in the movie's house.
Uh-huh.
And he's introducing me to the girlfriend, and he said, "Hey, in the middle of a shot. I mean, while the camera's rolling, you say, "Hey, Carl, do that mouse thing you do."
Oh,
and that's
geez.
when I was right in the middle of a scene, and for some reason, I didn't have the temerity or the savvy to just say no and walk out of the scene, which I've done since then, taught to me by a very famous actor who did the same thing. I asked that famous actor when he was in the middle of a scene, he just stopped talking and walked out of the scene, just walked off camera.
Holy cow.
And nobody said anything. And then he came back and we did the scene again, and he stayed in. So after the scene was over, I asked this famous actor, I said, "Okay, now explain to me what happened there. You were in the middle of a scene, you just walked out of camera frame, just walked into the background there. And why did you do that, and why didn't anybody say anything?" So he said, "Well, I'm famous, so that's why they didn't say anything. But the reason that I did it is for a very important reason. I didn't feel like I was in the part. I didn't feel like I was giving my best performance. I think maybe I even dropped a line and they kept me going. They didn't say stop. So I had to stop the film myself because," he said, "if they get it on film, it will be in the movie. You can bet on it. So to prevent a bad performance that you are deeming, man, I'm not into this at all, this is going south, you got to walk out of frame, off camera, so they don't capture it, so they have to shoot it again." And I always remembered that. And I did it the next time I did it, a couple of, parts later. I did it, and everybody went bonkers. "Hey, what did you do that for? What did you do?" I didn't like what I was doing. "Yeah, well, we're not paying you to blah, blah, blah." I wasn't famous,
Yeah.
So they came down on me. So I saw the ramifications, but I thought, but it worked. I walked out, they didn't have it, and so every once in a while, I mean, you got to have a lot of balls to do that, man. They get really angry if you're not a star. But I did it, once or twice in my career, and after a while, nobody said anything. I mean, I didn't do it a lot. Maybe I did it 3 times in my entire career.
Oh, that's fine.
And it was really for a good reason. I thought I didn't just spend that kind of, favors.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't spend it, badly. I respected the process and what they were doing, trying to get a film done in budget, and you're wasting time when you do that. But I thought it was important. So I was protecting character, I was protecting me.
Right.
So in that thing, he said, Adam Sandler said, in the scene, he said, "Do that funny mouse thing you do for my girlfriend." And in that 1 second, that thing flashed by me. Walk out of the scene right now. You don't do it on. But I respected Adam so much, even though I don't like his humor. I did it. Just instinctively, because I'm an improvisational actor. I mean, that's where I grew up. Second City, The Committee. It was just something somebody threw at you, you just do it.
Right.
So I did it. I've regretted it all my life. And everybody who loves that movie keeps on asking me, "Hey, do that mouse thing."
Oh, jeez.
So this famous actor was right on, man. If you do it, it's going to be in the scene. It's going to be in the movie. You can bet on it. And that's the only little tiny thing I've ever regretted doing on camera. Other than that, but it was a small thing. But that's one of the things. Adam Sandler's. Now, here's the other thing. I did Escape from Alcatraz, and Don Siegel, who directed that, is an incredible, great actor. He's a famous actor. He's an old actor. He's directed some of the great black and white movies of our time.
Right.
He's directed Robert Mitchum and just great stars that I look up to. And he would put me on all the time. But the way he put me in, because I'm very naive, when I go on a set, I just want to learn anything I can. And to this day, and I've been in the movie business all my life, I still, generally, if it's a great director or some director or a great actor that's in the movie, I will not go to my dressing room. I'll stay there. in the entire shoot, El Camino, I never went to my dressing room once. I just stayed on the set all the time. So much so that the director gave me my own viewing screen.
Oh, cool.
That's getting play. Yeah, it
really
was very
neat.
cool. He said, hey, somebody get Larry a viewing screen, just so he can watch without sneaking around. That was pretty cool. But he got the idea that I'm really interested. I'm a filmmaker, file.
Okay.
So I didn't, so when Adam was doing it, I got very touchy and angry at him. I didn't express it to him.
Yeah.
But when Don Siegel did it, he did it with love. I knew it. He was just like my grandfather. He just, hey, what are you doing? Because I would ask him questions. I'm like, why are you doing this? How come you did that? What's this for? And he would, generally would say, he'd either give me a right answer, or he'd go, I don't know, Larry, I think I'm going to get fired for this one. But, and other times, he would be very serious, and he'd say, well, like, for instance, I didn't have that many scenes. I had quite a few scenes in Escape from Alcatraz. But I was there to protect my character, but to protect me, I didn't want to get cut. I know a lot of scenes sometimes you do in a movie, you give it your all, and it's not even in the movie.
Right.
It's happened quite a bit. So all actors, they're cutting for time, for pace, for, So, Don came up to me one day, and he was very kind to me. I was very naive, and he tried to fill me in. He never just gave me an order. He'd say, well, do this because I need that.
Mm-hmm.
So he came up to me and he said, okay, in this particular scene, cut that line. And the line that I had that he wanted cut, I knew was a plot line. Now, the importance of plot lines to an actor is that if you have a plot line, your scene can't be cut. It's part of the plot. If you cut that,
Right.
part of the plot's missing.
It leaves a big hole when people go, what? What?
Yeah, so I knew, wait a minute, if he's cutting this line, that means my scene can be cut if he takes that line out.
Uh-huh.
And so I got kind of disturbed, by it, and he kind of saw that. I said, why? Why are you cutting this line? That's an important line. It's a plot line. And he said, yeah, well, you'll say it in the next scene. And I go, oh, wow. That never occurred to me. He's not cutting the line. He may be cutting the scene, or he may want it for a whole other reason. But it was the first time that I really understood why that is, you can bend the laws of cinema in that you don't have to have everything in the same order. You can put the beginning in the middle, and you can put the end at the beginning, and you can switch it around as long as it makes sense. And there's many, many ways in film and in editing and in writing even, where you can mix up the laws and still have it make sense and follow it. So I was kind of, when he said, yeah, I can put it in another scene, I was kind of calmed down. But he would put me on all the time,
Yeah. That's awesome. So, kind of moving on a little bit to another question I have for you. You started acting back in the 60s, is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. So I bet it's completely different now than it was back then, wasn't it?
Totally. I tell, young actors, wannabe actors, that if I had to start now, I'd be lost. I was just either in the right place at the right time, or I just said the right thing for no reason, and it got me into a place. But I never tried to. Every time I tried to do something, like get somewhere or audition for something I knew would change my life, or that never happened. The only way I advanced was I happened to be somewhere, and it worked out. like, hey, you, come here, we need another guy.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's a randomness to it that's unbelievable. I mean, I couldn't do it again, and if you wanted to be an actor and I told you how I did it, it wouldn't help you at all. Like, for instance, I mean, I graduated as an industrial designer.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, maybe I could like film, because industrial design is problem solving, and directing a movie is problem solving. That's all it is. Something comes up, you got to solve it now. So I was attracted to it, but I never. But I went from being an A- student at Syracuse University in industrial design, sought after by General Motors to design new cars, the advanced motor. Well, yeah, like the experimental cars, the ones that were 2 years ahead of what was going on now, like 3 years. And so I could have had a really nice living, had a nice house, and had moved to Detroit or wherever it was that General Motors was in the 60s. But I chose instead, when I graduated Syracuse, to go to Greenwich Village with my best friend in college, who was Carl Gottlieb, who wrote all the Jaws movies.
Right, yeah.
Big one. So he was my best friend. So we got a little walk-up apartment, five floors, no elevator, $50 a month, or something like that, maybe $75. And he started writing right away. He wanted to be a writer, and he was reviewing local movies, movies for local newspapers, small little, area newspapers. But I was just out of college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was always funny in high school, so I started swabbing duckboards in bars after the last call. I was locked in a bar in Greenwich, the Bar and Grill in Greenwich Village, from 2 a.m. until 6 a.m, just cleaning up behind the bar, just the floors and stuff, and the duckboards, and then the chef in the morning at 6 a.m. would come in, and he would unlock the door from the outside. They locked me in, so I couldn't get out even though I wanted to. Everything was locked from the outside. So he would unlock it, and then I would get out at 6 a.m, and then spend the rest of the day doing nothing until I could wander into like Monday night open mics, because they were free. And I would sit there all night watching these comedians and folk singers sing until I had to go to work at 2 a.m. at the bar. And I was thinking, I was a funny guy in high school. I could be funnier than this guy or that lady. And so I started, think. So basically, I started doing Monday nights, and I started getting better and better. And because I would watch the same people would come up on the Monday nights, every Monday night for like 3 or 4 Monday nights, and I go, this guy isn't doing anything. I mean, I'm funnier than him. So I would get up on the stage, and I was god-awful, because I didn't write anything. I didn't know how to write a joke. So I would just get up and talk about my day, like I did in high school when I was funny. But it wasn't working. And I've heard tapes. I was really bad. I was not funny at all. I was just like other people on Monday night. But I kept doing it, and I couldn't figure out, years later, when I became successful at it, I couldn't figure out why I kept doing it, except I remember coming off the stage and not getting any laughs, and just thinking, I can do it better next week. And that's the only thing that kept me going. Yeah, I didn't take the no laughs as anything. I didn't take it as rejection. I just thought, I can do it better next week. Until about 6 months later, I was opening for Woody Allen, so I guess I was pretty good.
Yeah,
and
you
then
must have been.
and then I was opening for Miles Davis and the Kingston Trio, and then the Love and Spoonful and the Blues Project, and I was opening to arenas. I was on the rock and roll circuit. I was playing arenas with all the, huge bands. And that was kind of cool. And I was doing like Lenny Bruce stuff. I wasn't doing any drugs at the time. That was coming in later years. But I was talking about drugs, and I was cursing on stage, and I was talking about sex and weed and politics, and I was an outsider. But I couldn't take. Finally, one day I was opening for the Kingston Trio, and out of the darkness, because in a nightclub, you can't see the people; the lights are in your eyes, so you can't see beyond the dance floor.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, I'm talking about God. Doing this funny bit. By then I was funny. I was opening for the Kingston Trio, and I'm talking about God. And across, out of the darkness, this bohunk, this like lumberjack, just comes walking across the dance floor with a upside down beer bottle in his fist, and he's saying, "Get off the stage and bring on the Kingston Trio."
Oh no!
And I was going, "What?" Yeah, and he said, "I said, get off the stage." And he didn't want to hear it. He just didn't want to hear it. I said, I'll tell you. He said, "I don't care. Get off the stage." So I did. I just walked off the stage. There's this blank stage. So I go over to the bar, and I'm just sitting there, and the guy went back to his seat after I got off. And the bartender comes up and he says, "What are you doing here, man?" And I go, "Did you see that guy walk across the stage, or the dance floor?" He said, "Yeah." He said, well, I'm not going to be on stage with that. He was going to hit me. Where's the bouncer?" And I said, and the bartender says, "I'm the bouncer. Get back on stage. You got 10 minutes more to go."
Oh,
I'm
wow.
not getting on stage unless you tell that guy to, sit down and shut up or throw him out. I'm not getting back on the stage. And he says, "You don't get back on the stage, you're not getting paid." I said, "I'm not getting back on the stage." He said, "You're not getting paid." I said, "Fine, bye." And I just walked out, called a taxi, and went home. I got on a plane and went home. I was up in Boston, and I was working out in New York. But, that's the kind of, so I called my manager, and I said, who was Woody Allen's manager at the time, and I said, "Hey, I can't do this, man. I'm not Lenny Bruce. I'm not doing the drugs. I'm just talking about what he's talking about. It's just talk. It's funny stuff." He said, "Well, join Second City, then you can talk about the same stuff, but they own the theater and they'll throw them out." So that's what I did. I auditioned, as a matter of fact, with Robin Williams. And I remember specifically because he was still wearing that white bib overall thing with the rainbow suspenders.
Yeah.
And I think he had done one or two. I think I'd seen him. All the comedians in Greenwich Village knew one another. He was working there. So that Greenwich Village scene. So, we both auditioned together. I got it. I think he got it too. But I got in Second City, and then they shipped me down to St. Louis. And we stayed there for for 3 months. We were there for 9. We were just held over at Crystal Palace. And then from there, I was shipped up to Chicago, to the main stage of the Second City. And I was there for a while, and then about 5 of us decided with this director, one of the Second City directors, that we were going to go to San Francisco and start our own company called The Committee, which is what we did. And so we went there. So again, it was just, I happened to be somewhere where something was happening, and there was all the good stuff. But I didn't plan on going to St. Louis. I didn't plan on going to Chicago. I didn't plan on getting into Second City. It was a suggestion by my manager, but I didn't know Second City from a hole in the wall. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll do that then. So then I got up there, and then it was a plane ride. It was cost $30 round trip to fly from Hollywood to San Francisco, and we were a big hit in San Francisco. So all the heavy hitters and the major players from Hollywood would fly up $30 there and back to see this great, funny show that was up in San Francisco. So again, I didn't even try to audition for Hollywood. They were coming up to see our show, and I was in a hit show, so I got hired to act down in L.A. We were flying back and forth until my entire company, and there were replaced by the second company. But my entire company went individually, like one at a time, this week, the next week, and somebody else. They moved down there to just be actors in Hollywood. And I stayed up there. I just loved improvising until the committee closed, which I think was in 2 years from it. So I stayed up there for 2 years. I was living in my car. The committee, after the first or second company, I think the third company, it wasn't the same. I mean, we were handpicked by the director, and we all had been in Second City or were working comedians when he picked us to go to San Francisco.
I see.
And there we were just picking people who were, third stringers just from the comedy pool in San Francisco, which wasn't that great. It was a hippie. It was the 60s. It was not, there wasn't many comedians, but there was a lot of political things up there.
I got you.
And finally, after living in my car for a while, I just said, okay, I'm going down there. And then I was invited down there by Carl Gottlieb, who had just written Jaws, and I could sleep on his couch. And by then, he had a mansion. So I just slept on his couch. Yeah, I slept on his couch. I couch surfed, and I slept on his couch until his wife, Allison, God bless her, she kicked me out. She said, somebody else has got the couch for the next 2 weeks. You got to get out of here.
Wow.
So I said, okay, fine. And she forced me to, I guess I went to somebody else's couch, and then she got a call. Again, I didn't do anything. She got a call and called me, and she said, Laverne and Shirley's show called and wanted to get in touch with you, so call them. So I called the Laverne and Shirley production office, and they were looking for me. They wanted me. Turns out Laverne, Penny Marshall, had seen me in a show up in San Francisco about 6 months before then, and there was a great part for me that she said, yeah, he would be good in this, because I was a physical comedian too, and it was a dance scene. So I played a guy who was dating her and also trying to come on to her. And it was she's very funny. So we were rehearsing this dance thing. So I got a job on Laverne's show. I didn't ask for it. I don't even think I had an audition. I just went down there, over there, and said, yeah, they're looking for, here's your side. Do you want to do this? Yeah,
wow.
Sure.
Right place, right time.
So Laverne, Penny Marshall said, when he comes in, hire him. I want to work with him. So we did that. And here's the really ridiculous part. But this happens in Hollywood all the time. I'm rehearsing on the stage, the Laverne and Shirley set, their living room set. But nobody was around, It was like in the afternoon. We were going to shoot the next day, so I don't know, the day before we were going to shoot. So we're going over the thing, and she's very funny. She's a good physical comedian. So she's saying, how about if we do a dip? Because I was going to take it to a dance. That was the plot of the scene. So she said, well, what if we do the dip and you can't hold me and you drop me? And I said, yeah, that's pretty funny. But she's good because she knows how to fall. I mean, she's got clown training. Even if she didn't train as a clown, she understands those falls. She can do them. Well, when she was younger, she could do them. So I said, okay, but you might hit your head. So I said, how about if I dip you near the couch? So when you fall, you fall on the couch. And she said, okay, yeah, that would be cool. And then she said, so we did that a couple of times. And she said, well, how about if you drop me and then you trip and fall on me? So I said, yeah, that's kind of cool. So we did that, and then I fell on her, and then I hear this voice saying, hey, what are you guys doing? And we look over, and it's Gary Marshall, the brother, who's directing the show and owns the show.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I said, just rehearsing. He said, no, not the rehearse. What is this touchy-feely falling on it? What's this stuff on the couch? And she said, yeah, exactly. And she said, no, we're rehearsing a scene for the show. And he says, well, none of this, falling on her, and there's no touchy-feely stuff. And I'm going, but this is we're rehearsing. Well, don't rehearse that. And it was like getting angry.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so I looked at her, and she just like, kind of smiled and shrugged, that's my brother, he's protecting me. Like, what the fuck, So we said, okay, man, we won't do that. So he said, fine, no touchy-feely. Then he walked away. And I'll never forget touchy-feely, no touchy-feely.
No touchy-feely.
No touchy-feely. So we changed it, so there was no touchy-feely. But it was ridiculous. I mean, but stuff like that happens all the time, in every show there's something like, are you kidding me? Or that's really great. It happens the other way, where this is a happenstance that happens where it changes everything and it's great.
That's
but
cool.
Yeah, that's kind of, but that's how I got into show business. In other words, you see, I didn't ask for anything. I just happened to be somewhere where the director said in Second City, hey, come on, let's go. We're going to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And then, Laverne said, hey, here, come on and be in my show. And that gave me a, because to sign the contract to be on the Laverne and Shirley show, I didn't have an agent, but I had to get one. Well, if you go to any agent and say, I got a job, I just need somebody to do the contract, they're going to hire you. They're going to be your agent.
Oh,
okay. There's no argue. If you got a job, you want me to get 10% of it? Fine. You're my client. I mean, that's what happened. So even then, when I got an agent, then he just started sending me out to other roles because, hey, Penny Marshall can't be wrong.
Right.
So I started getting jobs. So I didn't try to get anywhere that I was that furthered my career. I only tried to be in things that turned out didn't work out.
I see.
So it was all luck. The whole thing. I mean, all the way. My manager, Woody's manager, said, "Go to Second City." I didn't think of Second City. Yeah, being that you can do the same stuff, but you've got other 5 people to protect you.
There you go.
So I did. Yeah, and also he said, which was kind of cool. He said, and by the way, in nightclubs, because I was referencing it was called the Jacks on the Highway, I think, the nightclub where the guy came out with the bottle.
Yeah.
He was referencing that when he said, when you're in a nightclub, the nightclub stage is only about 4 inches above the dance floor because that's just where the band is. But you realize that, right? That the stage is not high; it's just a little bump up. But in Second City, he said the stage is like I think about 4 feet at least minimum above the floor of the audience. So you got that protection. Not only got 5 people, but they can't jump on the stage. It's too hard.
Yeah.
So he was saying you're protected more at Second City because of the height of the stage.
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
I had to, that makes sense. That was my excuse for auditioning. Not like I want a job. It was really great to be in this. No, they got a higher stage. I can say the same thing.
That's awesome.
That's kind of how I made it in show business.
That's amazing. Well, we're going to bring things to a close here. I just wanted to, say, first of all, say thank you so much for being on the show. And I want to give you the opportunity. You can tell people where to go and see some things you're working on now. Maybe tell them about your book again, just to remind them here at the end. Get it all out there, and we'll wrap things up.
Okay, so the first thing is I got my own book, which is called The Loopholes Dossier, and it's right now in pre-sale. Oh, and if you order it now, it does me a favor because Amazon bases their advertising of books they are selling by how many people order it in pre-sale.
Okay.
So if I have a lot of pre-sale, they'll push the book more. So that's really great. So that's one thing, the book. And it's really funny. It's a little political satire, it's fable satire, and it's oral history satire of a homeless guy I met along the way. It's really funny. Okay, so that's one. 2 is El Camino is coming out.
Right.
Did you? Yeah. Did you watch SNL? I didn't. I don't know if I asked you that. Did you watch SNL last night?
I did not.
Okay, I don't watch it, but somebody gave me a a link. It was on. They did a commercial for El Camino, which is Vince Gilligan's new show.
That's
new
awesome.
movie. It's a movie on Netflix, and the commercial was my scene.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Yeah, that blew me away. I looked at it, and it's a scene from the movie. So El Camino is coming out on the 11th, so go see that. I don't know what it's about because all I got it was secret. I had to sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement.
Yep.
So I only got my scenes. I didn't get a script. I only got the pages of my scene. And
wow, that's cool.
So nobody
that's
knew.
A little mystery.
Well, it's cool and mysterious. It's odd because you get on the set and nobody can talk about the narrative. You know,
cool.
But not the costume people, not the. So yeah, it's cool but weird, but fun. I mean, it was great doing it. My part is great. The movie. I mean, the other people. I was watching. I never went into my dressing room. I just watched what was going on. So those are the two things. And then if you really want to see my stuff, all my stuff, that's on Vimeo. Just go to Vimeo, Larry Hankin, and bada bing, bada boom. There you go.
Awesome.
And taste it. So that's it.
Well, once again, I would like to thank you very much for being on the show. And once we transition to video, I would love to have you on again.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anytime.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Larry Hankin, and this show has been Breaking the Fourth Wall. Thank you very much for coming, and we will see you later.
Cool.
That's it for today's show, ladies, gentlemen, and anything around or in between. Another great interview. Remember, I'm Ray, and this has been Breaking the Fourth Wall. Check me out at Chronicles of the Lost Realm on YouTube, Anchor, and Instagram. I can also be found on War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast. Become a Patreon to help us provide even more content and quality entertainment for you. All of our shows can be found on Anchor.fm or wherever podcasts can be heard. Breaking the Fourth Wall is a Realm of the Mist affiliate.